Ultimate Punchers. If you guys had to pick what upsets are going to take place this weekend at UFC 305, who are you guys picking? On the main card, we have some crazy good matchups. We have the Leech fighting. We have Rosenstrike versus Tai Tuivasa. We have Steve Erceg fighting Kai Kara-France in the co-main event. We have Dan the Hangman Hooker fighting Erceg Gamrot. And for the main event, as you all know, Izzy Last Stylebender is coming back to fight Dricus du Plessis. Out of all of these fights, there are a few, like, right now I'm in the mindset that I think Izzy's going to come out beat Dricus. I'm thinking Steve Erceg is going to beat Kai Kara-France. I'm thinking that Gamrot's going to beat Dan Hooker. I'm thinking Rosenstrike's going to beat Tuivasa. But if I were to pick some upsets, here's what I think they would be. Before I get into it, if you don't mind, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Helps with the YouTube algorithm, helps grow the channel. So for me, Steve Erceg, he looks like he is the slight favorite over Kai Kara-France. But to me, that is the fight where I see an upset most likely to happen. And the reason for that is I think they're pretty close skill-wise, you know, and I think that if you look at Steve Erceg, not just, but UFC 301, he had an incredible performance against Pantoja where basically, like, he was very close to winning that fight. I think in the 5th round, Pantoja, you know, edged him out, as they say. And so, like, I would think that a performance where he is so close to beating Pantoja would put him pretty close to beating all the other guys in the division who Pantoja has beaten, right? But sometimes, from what we've seen in the past, guys come off of incredible performances like that, and for whatever reason, they can't get their groove back, right? And so, you know, Kai Kara-France, he's been away for a while. He's definitely got something to prove. Him beating Erceg, probably he can raise his hand for a shot at the title, a shot at Pantoja. So, like, this could be the #1 contender fight, right? So, you know, and skill-wise, I think he's right there with Erceg in a lot of ways. Now, that being said, you know, Erceg, if he fights that calm, collected, kind of no expectations fight that he kind of did against Pantoja, I think he wins again, right? But now it's one of these things like, okay, I know I can hang with the guys. I was so close to beating the champ. You know, I can beat all these other guys underneath him, right? And now you're kind of looking and being like, you know, maybe he might underestimate his opponent just a little bit, right? For like that split second, and that's kind of all it takes, right? So if I were to guess an upset, I think that one is most likely to be one where there could potentially be an upset. Of course, the main event, like I said in a previous video, I think Izzy's going to win. But there's Dricus du Plessis, who, you know, like he's been an underdog on more than one occasion. And he's managed to pull through. He's got, like, this really awkward style. You know, he's champ. We've seen champions when they, like, get the belt, they kind of come into their own, and they almost exemplify why they're the best in the world at the time. So, you know, and you know, ring rust is real, right? Izzy has been off for the better part of a year. So, you know, that could be a factor too. But to me, that one is less likely. I feel like Izzy, if he comes back and he, you know, plays his game and does what he does, like, he's got a great chance of coming out on top there. So I don't think that one's going to be an upset. It could happen, but, you know, that's probably the lowest on my list. I don't think there's going to be an upset between Hooker and Gamrot. I think Gamrot's just going to out-grapple him for 3 rounds. You know, anything's possible, right? And Hooker even did an interview where he was basically talking about how, like, all the grappling-heavy guys are boring. You know, basically he's trying to call them out and get them to stand and bang, right? Because obviously when you're standing up, you have a chance, right? Although, frankly, I don't think that Hooker, even if it was a straight stand-up game, I don't think he beats Islam Makhachev, right? So there's that. And then, of course, the other really likely upset to happen, in my opinion, is going to be at heavyweight, right? Like, I think Rosenstrike is the better fighter. He's the more skilled fighter. He's the more technical fighter. And I think he approaches this, kind of the same way, like kickboxing. He's got the knockout power, all that type of stuff. But Tuivasa does have knockout power too. It's just he's a brawler, right? And I think that's kind of been exposed in a lot of ways in his previous, several fights, where it's like, okay, the guy who got there by knocking out Derek Lewis and by, hitting, he just doesn't have like the same technical capabilities as other guys at heavyweight, which isn't saying a lot. So it's one of these things that, I think Tuivasa or Rosenstrike, if either of them connect, they can put the other to sleep, right? But Rosenstrike is the more technical fighter. So I think if an upset were to occur there, it would be, Tuivasa catches Rosenstrike in some way, shape, or form. But, Rosenstrike is the more technical guy. He's got a, kickboxing background. He is coming off of that win off of Gaziv, so he's coming off of a win. Tuivasa's coming off of a loss, right? So, all the momentum is in Rosenstrike's favor, but it is one of these things, right, where anything can happen in heavyweight. Anyone can get caught. There's power on both ends, and one good shot is all it takes, right? And one good shot from Tuivasa is what it took to bring down Derek Lewis. So I think an upset there is also very likely. But what do you guys think? Where are the upsets coming from, do you think? If you were to bet, who would you be betting on to come up and win as an underdog? Let me know what you think in the comments. And by the way, guys, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like and subscribe button, helps with the YouTube algorithm, helps grow the channel. Either way, I am super pumped for UFC 305. I think the main card is pretty good. Like, the prelims aren't that good, honestly. I don't think the prelims are very good here. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I think those are the ones that are most likely to give upsets out of the main card. Leach, yeah, I don't think he's beating his opponent there. What's his name again? Li Jingliang. Yeah, Carlos Price, he's like I think it's a 3-1 favorite. So I don't know. I don't think he's beating him there. But this is a good match, like 19-8 versus 19-6. I'm definitely going to be cheering for Lee, but I don't see an upset happening there. So yeah, that's where I think it's gonna go down. I think Kai Kara-France could upset Erceg, and I think Tai Tuivasa could upset Rosenstrike. Those are kind of the main ones that I see happening. Once again, what do you guys think? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching, and thank you for stopping